Thank you, House Chair. This department plays a crucial role in not only safeguarding the future of our wildlife, but also in safeguarding our environment so as to keep our environment free from pollution and thus safe for our citizens. The ANC, as the governing party, is failing in the obligation of the state as a trustee of protected areas to fulfill the rights contained in Section 24 of the Constitution, to have the environment protected for the benefit of present and future generations through reasonable legislative and other measures. Although the white paper on conservation and sustainable use of South Africa's biodiversity is to be welcomed, there is a complete disconnect between the lofty principles enumerated in the white paper and the reality on the ground, where an ANC administration has allowed SA's network of protected areas to wither from neglect, corruption, and nepotism. This is clearly evidenced in the recent EWT report, The State of Provincial Nature Reserves in SA, which noted across all provinces there are inadequate budget allocations for effective provincial reserve management. In many provinces, most government funding goes to salaries, bonuses, and human resources, with very little allocated for maintenance and operational expenditure. Surely, Honourable Minister, you cannot sit idly by with findings like this, even though PRs aren't directly in your care. It is almost impossible to envisage how this society living in harmony with nature, as spoken about in the Biodiversity White Paper, could arise in a future in which provincial reserves, already struggling for survival, are allowed to fail through lack of effective management and resources. What must also be asked is how will Goal 3 of the White Paper, ensuring access and benefit sharing in a fair and equitable manner by local communities living with and adjacent to Big Five areas, be delivered from already impoverished reserves? What is just as worrying is SANParks' inability to stem the imminent extirpation of rhinos in the Kruger National Park, where 80 ranger posts, including 3 section rangers, remain unfilled, and a long-promised integrity testing policy has yet to be implemented. The government has also failed to implement the National Integrated Strategy against illegal wildlife trade, which has been languishing on the President's desk since 2017, thereby hampering law enforcement efforts. Further failed to bring into operation the NEMLA Act, which was first introduced to Parliament in 2017, but only gazetted in June of 2022. With government inexplicably withdrew the long-delayed amendments to the TOPS regulations, as well as the elephant norms and standards on March 2023, in the face of a legal challenge, using more time required to study as an explanation, agreeing to pay the applicants legal costs and admitting to wasting the court's time, despite DEFI Legal having submitted a 91-page answering affidavit. We welcome, however, the TOPS regulations, as the Minister announced, that will be available shortly, and would like to see that done with the elephant norms and standards as well. To this date, the department's legal team have failed to submit an answering affidavit to the interim interdict granted in the High Court in April 22, overturning DEFI's quotas for the hunting and export of elephant, rhinos, and leopards. So no hunting of these species may take place to the detriment of the hunting or of the wildlife industry. Turning to the environment we live in daily, I become even more worried as the same trends continue. You can literally list on one hand the number of landfill sites that check all legislative boxes necessary. Take Strijdfontein landfill in Kroonstad for an example. Besides the fact that there are residential properties too near the landfill and the fence is non-existent, the municipality admits that it has been full since 2018, that rehabilitation cannot be done because nobody tenders for it, and no new landfill site has been identified to rectify this problem. Also, are the permit regulations not met, and so we stumble forward year after year. In the Free State, the STIA even admits that although they budget for solid waste management, it is never used because municipalities have an inability to use these funds. Minister, I also want to implore you to put pressure on your counterpart in the Ministry of Water and Sanitation. Our water sources are being polluted by raw sewage from failing infrastructure on a daily basis. In the Setsoto local municipality in the Free State, we had a burst sewage main run directly into the river for 2 weeks before the necessary repairs could be done. Our animals deserve better. Our citizens deserve better. South Africa deserves better. I thank you.